Hello, guys and gals, me, Mudar. You know by the title of this video, I'm excited. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the FBI got hacked, the glowies in this case. Now, you might be like, whoa, this is some pretty big information, Muda. Is something crazy going on? Well, luckily in this case, when the FBI gets hacked, we're talking about the skin flake under their toe. Thank God, somewhat of the unrelated to the massive things that they have going on division. Okay, that pretty much ended up getting hacked. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do I mean by that? Well, you should probably know something known as the InfraGard system. Okay, so FBI's InfraGard is kind of like a social media network for the really big and powerful in the country. It's kind of like an intelligence sharing system. In fact, we'll read it right here. InfraGard is a partnership between the FBI and members of the private sector for the protection of U.S. critical infrastructure. Through seamless collaboration, InfraGard connects owners and operators within critical infrastructure. So people are working in parts of the country that if they were to go down, bad things could happen. To provide education, information sharing, networking, workshops on emerging technologies and threats. Ooh, not good when this ends up getting hacked, huh? So their membership includes business executives, entrepreneurs, lawyers, security personnel, military and government officials, IT professionals, academia, and state and local law enforcement. Yeah, all these big name, all these high profile people working together. Now, of course, I even got a juicy brochure for you, all right? Hopefully to talk about their cybersecurity practices. If not, we'll look into them right now. Actually, wait, they even tell you critical infrastructure sectors. So you got chemical, commercial facilities, communications, critical manufacturing, dams, defense industrial bases, energy, financial services, food and agriculture, nuclear reactors. Yeah, they're working with the people that they absolutely have to be. So to understand just what happened with the FBI InfraGard system, it was hacked and an entire database got breached out. Now, of course, I looked into it and this is a 2022 Xmas edition. All right, God bless. Now, of course, on the hacker forum, a username by the term of USDOD, given the God designation, ended up releasing a bit of this for sale. All right, and the sale price was somewhere around the time of $50,000. Now, you may be like, but Muda, that's not really a whole lot of money for that kind of information. And you are right, because in reality, some of the things were actually missing from this entire database too. And I never got real looks into it, but effectively what was actually missing were things known as the email addresses in some cases, social security numbers, and of course, date of births were missing from some entries. Which, obviously, those are the real juicy things that you want. Those are the real identifiers. So, of course, the price was put up by $50,000 and has since then been taken away. Because according to USDOD, I would like to let you know that this data is no longer be posted for sale and won't be used in the future. I realize that selling it would cause more harm to myself than it would benefit me financially. The data will not be sold or shared in public. And I've emailed Troy Hunt to add all emails to HIBP so that all InfraGard members can search and see if they were affected. HIBP is Have I Been Pwned, which is a website you can use, drop your email into it, and it'll let you know if you've been part of any breach. Of course, I guarantee you USDOD looked outside their window and they were like, oh, that's a bright red light. Why is it aiming towards my head? Yeah, that's what they were doing. Because let me tell you something right now. If you think hacking computers is illegal, hacking the FBI is very, very fucking illegal. So, of course, the question has to be asked is, well, how did this happen? Was it some crazy, hack of the century that happened with the FBI? I mean, surely, Muda, they gotta have some protections. And you would be wrong, because the Federal Bureau of Investigation is not, some crazy big entity. It's not like some crazy entity, right? Like, obviously, it's a big group within the U.S., but even big groups are prone to making human mistakes every once in a while. So, of course, the way that it worked and the way that I've read into it, the way that I've seen, and from actual accounts of the person hacking, it seems as though what had happened was they had faked actual information to create an account on the website. So basically they faked a financial CEO's information and they applied for an account. Now, because InfraGard had some really really bad verification metrics, they really didn't put a whole lot of effort into actually verifying if this financial CEO was the real person. Like, could you imagine all of a sudden I went up to a website and said, hey, I'm Elon Musk, okay? Obviously, any website should go through a verification process to make sure that person is Elon Musk. They should have verifiable identification that only they would possess. Or maybe they would get an email an actual physical mail to their actual physical address that only they or a few people that they trust can access. There's a lot of ways to verify, and InfraGard didn't do a whole heck of a lot of them. So at that point, once they sent out their actual, registration, they got their approval within less than a month. And once they had that, they were inside the system. So what had happened was they had actually used a Python script to start querying the various InfraGard APIs. And once they had done that, they had actually extracted somewhere north of 85,000 contact informations in that entire process. And of course, the CEO that they actually faked, the information they used, was never contacted by the FBI prior to that breach, okay? So the FBI did literally nothing to verify if this person was even legitimately in their system. And so, of course, the actual exclusive InfraGard portal, in this case, which we all thought was really, really exclusive and secure, was so relaxed in its verification measures up until today, because I guarantee you, after what just happened, they are checking every single person. They were just giving this information out like candy. In the only surviving sort of email that I've seen in this entire situation, one thing that we can look at when it comes to API requests, you can see right here, is that they've got first names, they've got sector name lists, sector names, primary sectors, information, so basically where they're at. And of course, I have to blur a fair bit of this out, but then you've got certain things like your personal email addresses, cell phone, home zip, business zip, you get the point, okay? So obviously, they're digging out information and they're giving out samples of what to expect from some of these employees at work, again, in critical sectors. Now, looking through some of the data over here, it's not entirely the most earth-shattering things to ever see. Effectively, what I've understood and basically have heard from the stolen database, which unfortunately I couldn't confirm because all of it was taken down because of its danger, But what had happened was, like, the database just consisted of your names, where you were affiliated to, and of course the contact information. So it wasn't as if, like, all of it was really useful information. I think somewhere around, like, 47,000 records here actually included things like unique email addresses. And of course, like I said in the beginning, there wasn't really anything in the way of like social security numbers and date of births, although fields actually ended up existing too. What had actually happened in this entire situation was that they actually had access to the InfraGard members. And of course, they were even like verified into it to begin with. And of course, even the person who hacked it kind of hoped that they could send like messages via direct messages to other people in the InfraGard system, so whether they be CEOs or other big wigs in the US. Of course, the account didn't last long, especially after all of this. So again, I think the biggest thing to question out of it is how this happened to begin with, because ladies and gentlemen, the entire hack was done through a rather hilarious method, okay? The API actual, like the fact that he actually went through with a Python script and attack the API directly makes you kind of wonder. So of course, at the end of the day, the FBI basically said, this is an ongoing situation and we are not able to provide any additional information at this time. I think the thing to question is how this actually ended up happening and just why. You would think with such a critical and exclusive system that they would have a bit more protections offered to it. But yes, even the FBI is capable of making some severe lapses in judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar. And you know what? I'm glad I'm not the person that has all this data sitting onto them. Because I like this thing called living. And if it's one thing I know about the FBI, they'll shut down anybody that gets in their way. And ain't no way I'm getting in front of the glowy path. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it.